sometimes you will be attacked. And the bad news is that when you're attacked, it'll trouble you. When you know somebody after you, you get a little worried. Y'all with me? But when you get a little worried, don't worry. Talk to me, somebody. But then he says, watch this. Not only will you be attacked, but sometimes you will be afflicted. Are y'all with me? The word says you'll be perplexed, but not in despair. There's some good news and some bad news. Watch this. He says you'll be perplexed. That's the bad news. What does it mean to be perplexed? Watch this. To be unsure of yourself is to be perplexed. It means to be uncertain of your future. Oh God, you don't say it. Come a little closer, you missed that. He says when you're going through the troubles of life, he says the trouble will come. You'll get worried sometimes, but don't worry about the trouble because God's got it in check. He knows what you're dealing with. But then he says sometimes you'll be afflicted because there come times in your life because of your troubles and your trials and the pressures of life, you will not be able to be clear about where you are. You won't be clear. You'll be unsure of yourself. You ever been in that kind of a situation where you were unsure of your next move? Because of what was going on in your life, you weren't sure which way to go. You weren't sure which way to turn. You weren't sure which way was up. You weren't sure which way was down. You were uncertain of what your future held, and you were worried because you didn't know what was going to happen tomorrow because of what you're going through. Nobody's been there. You don't know what tomorrow is going to bring because of what you're facing today. But listen, my brothers and sisters, that's the bad news. Sometimes you'll be worried and you'll be wondering, what am I going to do? But watch this. There's some good news. Tell your neighbor there's some good news. Because when you are perplexed, you will not be in despair. And to be in despair is to not give up hope. Because here's the thing. When trouble comes, when trial comes, when you don't know what to do, don't worry about it on the one hand and don't lose your hope. Know that you got hope built on something greater than yourself. The songwriter said, my hope is built on nothing less than Jesus' blood and righteousness. I dare not trust the sweeter frame of the holy. Lean on Jesus. Now watch this. When you are unsure of where you're going and uncertain of your moment and you don't know what your future holds, don't worry about it because you don't need to worry about that because it don't matter what your future holds. You don't need to know what your future holds. What you need to know is who holds your future. If you know Jesus got you in check, if you know the Lord holds your future, don't worry about the future. Don't worry about the future because God got the future in check. All you got to do is live for him now. He'll take care of later. You're going to reflect the character and the integrity of a Christian. We must be trustworthy. Secondly, we must bear the troubles. We're building a sandwich. Thirdly, watch this. We are to bear the trials. Y'all not with me? There is a difference between troubles and trials. Are y'all still with me? Look at the next verse. You see, most of your troubles come from other folk. Let me clarify. When I say other folk, I'm talking about people generally. Most of your troubles come either from yourself or somebody else. Either you got yourself in trouble or you found yourself in trouble with somebody else. Y'all not walking with me. A trial is a little bit different. You see, trials are more or less on a spiritual note. Y'all not with me? Can I show you? Look at the text. Look at the text. He says we are to bear the trials. Verse 9 says, persecuted. Y'all see that? But not forsaken. Cast down, but not destroyed. Can I go there? Come a little closer. Watch this. He says, no, don't miss this. Tell your neighbor, don't miss this one. Watch this. He says, we are to bear the trouble, but then we are to bear the trials. Now what is he saying here? He's telling us this. He's saying, sometimes Satan will track you down. Y'all missed that. Let me say it again. Sometimes Satan tracks you down. You didn't know that he's on the trail of every child of God. You do know he has some demonic forces watching and looking after your life, trying to figure out how to make you fall. You do know that you're not free from demonic attack. You do know that as the more you try to live for Jesus, the more you got to worry about demonic attack, because every time you get through one situation, God promotes you, and when God takes you up, you go to a new level, you find a new devil. And sometimes Satan takes you down. Now don't act like y'all never been took down by the devil. Yes, you have. He says persecuted. Are y'all with me? He says when you're persecuted, you are pursued relentlessly. That means the devil gets on your trail and he just won't leave you alone. He starts tracking your life. He starts walking up on your life. He starts following your life. He knows where you're going. He knows how to make you fall. You know why? Not because he's clairvoyant, but because he's been watching you all your life. He knows just what it takes to make you think about doing wrong. Yeah, act like you never thought about doing wrong. I got news for you. You didn't just think about it. You did it. Talk to me, somebody. Now watch this, brothers and sisters. He says we're persecuted. That's the bad news, but we're not forsaken. Because here's the thing. When you're going through persecution, when Satan sends folk in your life, when Satan sends situations in your life, when he's coming down on your life, he's trying to cause you all manner of temptation to cause you to fall away from God. He says you're being persecuted. Persecution is unjust punishment. You're doing right, and they're treating like you've done something wrong. He's going to beat you like you done wrong, even though you done right. But he says, while you're persecuted, you won't be forsaken. Y'all don't hear. Let me show you. See, God, what he's saying here is, God will never leave you alone. When the devil persecutes a child of God for living a life of God, know that though the persecution comes from the outside, you still got God working for you from the inside. You see, God has a field of protection around you. Satan can't get but so close. How close can he get? He can only get, watch this, as close as God will let him. You didn't know that, did you? As a child of God, the devil can't touch you unless he gets permission from God first. And if God lets him touch your life, God's going to take that situation and turn it around to be a blessing in your life. All you got to do is stay faithful. Know that you're not by yourself. One of the devil's tricks is to make you feel when he's persecuting you that you're all by yourself. When he starts persecuting you, I wonder, who can I call? I called my friend, they wasn't home. I called my mama, she wasn't there. Called my daddy, he didn't answer. I called my brothers, they weren't there. I called my sister, they weren't there. Who can I call? I'm all by myself. But remember, while you're under persecution, you are not by yourself. Jesus says he'll be a friend who'll stick closer than any brother. Have I got a witness in the house? You always got somebody. Watch this. Sometimes Satan tracks you down. He gets on your heels. He runs you down. You think you're getting from him. He catches up with you. And you start thinking about it. I know it's wrong. But maybe God ain't looking right now. But I got news for you. Sometimes Satan tracks you down. I got to tell you something else. Sometimes Satan not only tracks you down, but sometimes he takes you down. Watch the text. He says, not only am I persecuted and then not forsaken, he says, cast down. Y'all see it? But not destroyed. You see, Satan wants you to feel the pressure that he's coming, that he's on your heels, and you feel all by yourself. You feel isolated even from God. But you got to remember, even when you feel isolated even from God, since God is everywhere all the time, he has to be right there by your side. But watch this. He says, but so sometimes he'll cast you down. And in the Greek, the word cast down, it means to be tripped up. Are y'all with me? And then pushed to the ground. I remember when I was a kid, I used to play optimist football, and for some reason the coach, well, I guess we did something wrong. I don't remember. He said, "Run." Y'all missed that. Take a lap. Matter of fact, take a few laps. Run till I say stop. And that day we were running. The group was running. I don't know who did it, but they did the wrong thing to me. I was jogging, I was running, we was all taking our lap, we was running. And while I was running, somebody from behind me caught up with me. And when he got up close on purpose, he kicked my back, my foot, and I tripped over my own feet and fell to the ground. I got up. I can tell you what happened when I got up. But I got up.